The most terrifying version of Mike Tyson is aggressive.
If I wish one of your guys had children, if I could kick them in the head or stomp on it.
Take the life. That's what I do.
But the most threatening version of Floyd Mayweather is calm. Iron Mike Tyson once said that everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
You can't last 2 minutes in my world, bitch.
I want their kids to see pain.
Put me in a sane asylum. I'm on mental water.
But what happens when you can't land the hit? Here are the reasons Floyd Mayweather turns Tyson into his own worst nightmare.
Floyd, why come back now?
Why not?
Everybody thinks that power decides the outcome of a fight. Until you realize that the most threatening man in the ring wasn't the one that was trying to knock you out.
Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
So when you think of Mike Tyson, you're probably thinking of the baddest man on the planet.
I'm not the most destructive, ferocious fighting machine that God ever created.
You're probably picturing this massive heavyweight towering over Floyd. That this is some David versus Goliath face-off.
Look at you scared now, you hoe. Scared like a little white. Scared of the real man.
Mike is so much bigger than him.
Yeah,
He's so much bigger than him.
But just remember this.
I don't think there's ever been anybody better.
But you might be surprised to learn that Floyd actually has a longer reach than Mike Tyson. Yes, you heard me right. Because when you compare Tyson to other heavyweights like Tyson Fury, for example, you realize they kinda has T-Rex arms. Now, Tyson Fury is not a normal size by any stretch of the imagination. On paper, he's 6 foot 9 inches. But it is worth noting that Mike Tyson is still relatively small for a heavyweight. As a result, Floyd's arms extend longer than his by about an inch. Once you take that into consideration, you realize that Mike Tyson doesn't have a lot of advantages left, aside from his power. And so, Tyson has a 71-inch reach. Floyd has a 72-inch reach. And if you're giving Floyd Mayweather an advantage like that, there's no reason he won't just jab your face off in the center of the ring. Realistically, what is stopping Floyd from just probing with the jab and then just keeping Tyson just slightly out of range? I can picture a situation where Floyd is just jousting with the jab, basically just giving Tyson something to look at to keep him occupied. I also see him varying the speed and power of his shots. I'll take it one step further. Floyd won't just vary his jab to be unpredictable. He's also going to set traps. Now, when Tyson inevitably tries to close the range and cut the distance while Floyd is jabbing, I anticipate a stiff pull counter right hand from Floyd. After repeatedly punishing Tyson for lunging in, I anticipate that Tyson will become hesitant and kind of freeze in the kill zone. He will still accumulate damage over time from Floyd, but won't be close enough to inflict any damage of his own. Tyson doesn't really fight well off the back foot anymore. Style always incorporated pressure moving forward. And so as a result, I see him freezing similar to how he did in the Jake Paul fight. Being somewhat defensively responsible, but basically a walking punching bag at this age. Let's be real, his reflexes have dulled. Floyd has no shame. He's going to capitalize on this. Even if Tyson sees the punches coming, I don't think it's realistic for his 59-year-old body to respond in real time to the movement. While it is definitely a huge factor, lack of effort and willpower will not be the main problem. It will be the fact that Tyson physically can't respond quick enough and defend himself.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
I've stressed this before, but this is dangerous. On the one hand, Tyson was once the youngest heavyweight champion of the world. On the other hand, he's been taking punches to the head since the age of 13. That's not including the bullying and the street fights. So to take that damage repeatedly for over 35 years is just not good for your health. I hope he's not doing this because he needs money. But at the same time, I don't know how much this fight could actually build his legacy. Yeah, he's fighting one of the best to ever do it in Floyd Mayweather. But I don't know how much credit you get when the big guy beats the little guy. It is worth noting that it is impressive to still be willing to get in the ring after all these years. But to me, none of this feels worth it. I wish he would just find peace and retire. One of the reasons that I'm glad this fight is an exhibition is that I don't believe that it should ever be sanctioned as a real fight. It's a novelty spar, but who are we kidding? I would expect nothing less from Floyd Money Mayweather. You know what's the best form of democracy? Gambling odds. And you know what? The people have spoken. Floyd Mayweather is the clear favorite to defeat Mike Tyson. And the writing is on the walls. Mayweather is the negative 140 to 500 favorite. At the time of recording this, Tyson is a relative underdog. But why does this matter in any way, shape, or form? Is the way that I think about this fight going to impact the way the fight actually happens? I mean, to be honest, maybe. There are two possible outcomes. Either Mike Tyson uses the doubt of everyone around him as fuel, or he starts to stress about other people's opinions and performs horrifically because of the pressure. Actually, there's a third option. There's also the I don't give a f*** Mike Tyson. That guy is not the same guy he used to be. It's not in a dangerous way anymore. It's in a I don't take this fight seriously and I don't care what people think. As a fighter, you have to believe in yourself when no one else does. But the fact that the people view the fighting odds this way shows that most people see that there are flaws in Mike Tyson's ability to perform in the ring. Only time will tell, but it might not be a safe bet to bet on the guy in a wheelchair who lost to a YouTuber. It's often overlooked now, but Mike Tyson had a major health scare before the Jake Paul fight. It was the reason the fight was postponed. I don't know. I think the odds tell a story of what people see with their own two eyes. The glove selection is a massive problem for Mike Tyson. He will be fighting the bout in 14-ounce gloves. To illustrate why that's such a big problem for Mike Tyson, you have to understand how much power he might lose with a glove like this. Standard boxing bouts are fought with 10-ounce or 8-ounce gloves, typically. And 14-ounce gloves have a lot of padding. But they do say that power is the last thing to go in a fighter. However, in his fight against Jake Paul, we saw what Mike Tyson's power looked like in 14-ounce gloves. His power barely affected him. Now, granted, Mike didn't really throw enough to make that much of an impact, but still, this is one of the alarm bells ringing in my head. You are neutralizing Mike Tyson's best weapon. You are eliminating his Hail Mary shot. With 14-ounce gloves, you're neutering his offense. People almost universally agree his one chance of winning this fight is a Hail Mary shot, knockout or knockdown that sends Floyd barreling to the canvas. The great equalizer is Mike Tyson's power. It's put away 44 opponents, and one of the ways that he was able to do this so effectively was hitting his opponents with shots they couldn't see. Most of you know that it's the shot that surprises you that really takes you out. But I'm sorry to the Mike Tyson fans. In 14-ounce gloves, there is no way that Floyd won't be able to see Mike Tyson telegraphing all of these punches. He's going to somehow be even slower than he normally would be, and that's not even factoring in age. Normally, a stipulation like this would balance a fight between a much larger and a much smaller opponent. In many cases, a clause like this would be necessary for the smaller fighter to even consider taking the fight. But it is not an advantage for Mike Tyson. It's like swinging a punch in an astronaut suit in outer space. I know that fighters train in heavier gloves, and so I'm not saying that they both won't be used to it. It's just another one of those things that makes me think that Mike Tyson really has no shot of winning. He's in over his head, and the sooner that people understand that, the better. Okay, this next one is actually just unfair to Mike Tyson. The ref, no matter the circumstance, will always prefer a clean boxing match. One of Mike Tyson's greatest assets was his ferocity, his ability to be a vicious killer that was unpredictable and would take charge of any situation and win by any means necessary. You already know about the time he went vampire mode and took out someone's ear. It looks like Evander forgave him. The referee's job is always to enforce a set of rules, and I anticipate that Floyd would complain to the referee if he wasn't able to effectively battle in the clinch, and if Mike Tyson attempted any dirty tactics. The thing is, I know that Mike Tyson is trying to be a more reformed man now, but dirty tactics are one of the only ways to arguably win against Floyd. He has downloaded every conventional fight pattern. You need someone like a Marcos Maidana against Mayweather who doesn't care to make the fight dirty. You need unconventional punches from angles that no one has ever seen before. Floyd spends the first minutes of his fights downloading data about his opponents, and you gotta disrupt that rhythm by throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him. Mike's advantage in this fight would be putting his weight on Floyd and roughing him up in the clinch. But really, it's a 2v1 because Floyd has the ref in his corner. He can always complain for extensive holding, he knows how to buy himself time and tire Tyson out. Floyd is calculated, and Mike Tyson often fights off instinct. Never underestimate Floyd's ability to use every tool available to him. Tyson at one point in his career was similar. The difference was that some of Tyson's moves were impulsive and less thought out. The ref also probably has been briefed about how old Mike Tyson is, and as a result, I think that he is more likely to wave off the contest sooner when he sees that Mike Tyson isn't reciprocating enough punches and isn't defending himself well. Floyd can make volume look like it's way more effective than it is. Floyd Mayweather has suffered hand injuries throughout his career, and as a result, knockouts haven't always been his top priority, mainly in the second half of his career. Pretty Boy Floyd was actually a monster. What I'm trying to say is I don't anticipate Floyd actually knocking out Mike Tyson in a traditional sense, but I can picture a scenario where there's a TKO just because the ref is concerned about his health and safety and doesn't want the contest to go on. I know it's an exhibition, so there's probably weird rules about what kind of knockouts can happen and stuff like that, but either way, my broader point is that the ref is probably on Floyd's side, strictly by virtue of their fighting styles. This one might seem kind of obvious, but Floyd Mayweather has never tasted defeat. He, quite simply put, does not know how to lose. This is part of the mentality that separates Mike Tyson from Floyd Mayweather. Some of Floyd's lowest moments still rival some of Tyson's highs. You can always argue that Floyd cherry-picked some of his opponents. You can always say that his style was boring and it wasn't entertaining for the audience. You can't deny the simple fact that the man had never been beat. I mean, officially on record. Think against the first Jose Luis Castillo fight, it's debatable. Even some of the commentators thought he lost that night. And while close fights aren't inherently robberies, I think that Floyd definitely got the benefit of the doubt that night. But on paper, he has always flawlessly executed his game plan and delivered. Maybe he fought people out of their prime or at the weight class he was most comfortable at, but Floyd has one of the best modern resumes in boxing. Then you compare this to Mike Tyson, at the time also very much the face of boxing. Unfortunately, not without his battle scars.
You have to be willing to fail greatly.
Oh, 100%. No one failed more than I did. I deserved all the credit I received.
Mike Tyson has survived many wars with his opposition, and as a result, he's taken a lot of damage over time. He was brutally knocked out by Evander Holyfield. He was also put down by Buster Douglas. Lennox Lewis also KO'd him, same with Danny Williams. And Kevin McBride kind of put the nail in the coffin. Not only did he physically hurt Mike Tyson in the ring, but he also broke his spirit. In 2005, in what was seemingly his last fight, Mike Tyson quit on his stool. Fighter who was once perceived as an unstoppable force chose not to go out on his shield. He took the easy way out and quit in front of the whole world.
I just don't have this in my gut anymore, and I wasn't really interested. I wanted to finish up, but Jeff Finnick is too sensitive when it comes to me, and he wasn't interested in me in going out and getting beat up anymore. It's just not in my heart anymore. It's hard for me to fight. Me starting out, you have to understand, I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I had nothing.
But for Floyd, his spirit has never been broken. His discipline and willpower have always been cornerstones in his life. Floyd is a boxing technician, but his strongest asset is actually his mentality. He fights like his boxing record is his only identity. Well, outside of money. His undefeated streak is so legendary that it's actually sometimes hurting the sport of boxing. Because so many dudes are now unwilling to fight each other because they just want to pad their record. Having an undefeated record in boxing makes you marketable. And many up-and-coming prospects refuse to take on challenging opposition for fear that their O might go. I think this self-preservation does a disservice to boxing, because I always want to see the best fight the best in their prime. As I said though, I don't think Floyd believes he is capable of losing, even in an exhibition. And because he is such a tactician, in his old age, I don't think Floyd could have even accepted a fight that he thought he would have any % chance of actually losing.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that...
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
Arguably, he spent years ducking people, and if he were to ever face that opponent, it would be on his terms while he was in his prime and they weren't. So realistically, why should we expect this conflict to go any differently? Alright, this next one might seem a little obvious, but Mike Tyson telegraphs his punches. Even now, I wouldn't advocate for an average person to get in the ring with him, but that being said, a master like Floyd will be able to detect anything that he is about to do.
He's not going to land a fist on Mayweather.
Right.
It's not after his last performance.
Tyson was known for his hook and uppercut combos, and he had a way of sneaking in punches where his opponents couldn't see them with his peekaboo defense. He was able to cut the distance and make his opponents pay. But now, he doesn't have the same mobility as he used to. And as a result, Floyd Mayweather will be able to predict anything that he's about to throw. If you already know what your opponent's going to do, you know how to counter them. And I believe that Floyd will capitalize on this momentum when he sees Mike Tyson wind up for punches. Also, the fact that Mike Tyson's punches are a lot slower now will not help the situation at all. Which brings me to another reason. Floyd has faster hands. Now, you might say that timing beats speed, but unfortunately for Mike Tyson, Floyd has both advantages. Mike Tyson has been defeated before, so there are tapes that Floyd can study for how to beat him. There is a blueprint that already exists. Floyd has superior mobility, and he's able to cut angles faster. At this stage in their careers, Floyd has the superior footwork. Just by virtue of not being 60, Floyd has the better conditioning. If you've watched any Floyd Mayweather fight, you might remember him as a track star. You might have seen him dance around his opponents, react with the Philly shell, and then counter. And without Mike Tyson having the stamina to keep up, I don't see things going much different. If Mike Tyson is bold enough to lunge in without getting countered, I anticipate Floyd backing up at an angle and darting out of range. Realistically, I don't think that there's any way for Mike Tyson to close the distance. Maybe he could try feinting with the jab, but in all honesty, I see this having a minimal effect. Floyd Mayweather has a higher ring IQ than Mike Tyson. He's able to make adjustments on the fly.
What I'm here to teach fighters is this. The name of the game is to hit and not get hit. It's not about taking punishment. That's not cool. The cool thing about my career is this. I retire on my own terms without taking any punishment.
Tyson's mentality isn't what it once was.
Nobody's seen more than I've seen. None of these fighters, none of these athletes. I'm the king of the barbarians. There's no one that could surpass me in the pain I've endured.
Ayahuasca, inactivity, and podcasting have dulled his killer instinct.
Looking at my appearance, I don't have that ferocity. I'm not an animal anymore.
And none of that is helped by the mileage on the clock that he has accumulated over time. However, I don't think that there is much of that you can hold against him. Your body naturally deteriorates over time. Not to mention the damage from heavyweight punches, there's no way that's doing anyone any favors.
It's heartbreaking to see an icon go out like that.
Yeah.
You know, and...
But it's crazy also to see him fight at 57 years old. Like, that's
nuts. But still, like, he shouldn't have been in there at all.
No, don't get me wrong. There is a lot to criticize Mike Tyson for. Mike Tyson is loved by so many people, but is still relatively controversial. I don't think it's fair to hold age against him. Fighters like Bernard Hopkins have rolled back the clock. Again, he was still younger than Mike Tyson. I want every 60-year-old fighter that has climbed the mountain and achieved everything in a sport to retire in glory. They say that your body is a temple, and with everything he has been through and the choices that he has made, he's not treating it like one. I know looks can be deceiving, and you know damn well I'm not going to be looking that good by the age of 60. I know what's in the cards for me, it's just not happening. But Tyson has also experimented with way more substances than I have.
I had to back then. I had to get high. I couldn't handle it all.
Meanwhile, throughout his entire life, Floyd Money Mayweather was always in peak physical condition. I could be wrong about this, but I don't think he even ever really drank. Yeah, he partied in the clubs, but even though he practically lived there, it was all basically image. Really, it was just a persona and built off of the Money Mayweather branding.
The sport needs the cash cow back.
It's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle.
There are reports that after a night at the club, he would basically run several miles home for the extra cardio. Meanwhile, Mike Tyson tried substances at the age of 10 years old. At the age of 11, he was putting stuff up his nose. Even if Mike Tyson is the most in-shape old dude you've ever seen, it won't be enough, because what's done is done.
Does that mean we won't see you fight again?
Yeah, that's most likely. I'm not going to fight again. I'm not going to disrespect the sport anymore by losing to this caliber of fighters.
The gods sent us for a war of the ages.
Unfortunately, one of the most damning metrics we get from this fight comes directly from the Paul brothers.
And I respect Mike. He's a legend. But it's time. It's my time now. There's a reason why I have the same birthday as Customato. Because I'm going to teach you how to fucking box, Mike.
For some reason, money, Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather pioneered crossover boxing with the Paul brothers. It was very much a thing before, but they unfortunately gave their credibility to the Paul brothers, each legitimizing a different one on the world stage.
When in your career are you going to actually fight a contender in your weight class and not do gimmick fights?
I think he just called Mike Tyson a gimmick.
What did you just call me again?
I didn't call you anything.
What did you call me?
But even though we had to watch those fights, there's still a lot we can learn from them. For one, Mike Tyson was unable to knock out Jake Paul. He didn't even throw enough punches to make it interesting. He was just nibbling on his glove and getting pot-shotted. After the second round, he was effectively a glorified punching bag. But still, Mike Tyson's punches were unable to impact Jake Paul. The damage wasn't really there. Now obviously, Floyd Mayweather is a much lower weight class than Jake Paul. Dudes that fight at a higher weight class might have more punch resistance. But are you really going to tell me Floyd Mayweather is as easy to hit as Jake Paul? No shot whatsoever. I know when Jake Paul got hit and knocked down, he was hit by an absolute bomb from Anthony Joshua, but Floyd has never throughout his entire career been knocked to the canvas like that. Yes, the ref has technically called a knockdown on Floyd, but it was in a completely different context. Floyd has a lot more experience absorbing punches than Jake Paul. Now, don't get me wrong, Jake's making up for lost time with the amount of brain damage he has, but when you've been a fighter your entire life like Floyd, you're conditioned, you know how to take a punch. And that's why I think he actually has the better chin than Jake Paul. When someone like Floyd has been doing this their entire life, they know where to expect punches. Normally the punch that takes you out is the punch that you don't see. For context, Jake Paul got rocked by Tyron Woodley, a UFC fighter that retired in a different sport. But Mike Tyson could barely touch him. But the burning question on everyone's mind is how will Floyd handle the size of someone like Mike Tyson? And to that I say he has already in recent memory fought someone much bigger. Someone that is 6'2". Someone that is 4 inches taller than Mike Tyson.
Good morning, Low Gang. What's pop?
Head of the Low Gang, Logan Paul.
Whoa. Ow.
I don't think that this was his best performance by any means, but Floyd showed that he would be able to handle the weight of a bigger fighter. To be fair though, this fight was pretty unwatchable because Logan tried to cuddle every 5 seconds, but it showed that Floyd has experience fighting someone more than 50 pounds heavier than him. Again, there's no way in hell that Logan Paul and Mike Tyson punched the same, but Floyd definitely learned from this experience. And if Floyd was willing to accept this fight, then I speculate that he was prepared. We all know he's having money trouble right now.
I mean, look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap. Just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
But the fact that he scheduled his rematch with Manny Pacquiao before this fight has even happened yet tells me that he doesn't view Tyson as a serious threat. At almost any other time in history, this kind of oversight would be lethal. Tyson would punish you because he was notoriously someone you should never underestimate. However, aside from Floyd's obvious financial struggles, I think that this speaks volumes about his confidence. People argue that Mayweather is the king of strategically cherry-picking fighters when they are out of their prime. And I don't know, the evidence of this Mike Tyson fight even taking place definitely supports that theory. I don't see Floyd challenging himself against Mike Tyson in his prime. One of my final thoughts is that I think that Mike Tyson's only path to victory is hitting Floyd down below the belt a bunch of times, almost getting disqualified. I think legal punches are not going to do it. He needs to be willing to break all rules, and I don't think he has that fight in him anymore. This fight is a sad affair. I will watch, but I'm not going to be happy about it. Stylistically, if Floyd and Tyson went up against each other in their primes, it would be one of the most intriguing stylistic matchups. But now it's just degrading for both of the fighters.
We know you don't know nothing about boxing. Finish going.
I'm willing to risk my entire channel on this fight. Well, maybe. I have too much to lose.
You walked away. You actually retired.
Every time I start making these videos, I'm going to make a tally of how many of these fights I predict correctly. This might be some kind of humiliation ritual. So my official prediction is by Floyd Mayweather by monotonous decision. I know that in the past, Mike has harbored some genuine animosity towards Floyd for disrespecting Muhammad Ali. This version of Mike Tyson is too little, too late. And while I do think that Floyd Mayweather's abilities have also diminished, I think that the difference is night and day. Ultimately, I think this fight is a little embarrassing for both parties involved. But what else would you expect from the two guys that each fought a Paul brother? Even though I don't predict this fight to have any knockout because it's an exhibition, both men involved have the potential to get seriously hurt. Several years ago at this point, Mike Tyson lost to Evander Holyfield twice. One of them by knockout and one of them because of eargate. But in recent years, Evander Holyfield fought again and got brutally knocked out himself. This was an unfortunate reality check for the legend. And so, for someone in old age, by boxing terms, the old guy that beat Mike Tyson got knocked out, who is to say he isn't just as vulnerable? Yeah, he survived against Jake Paul, but if Mike gets hit with a clean shot that he doesn't see, I don't like the outcome. I see a fatiguing decision, an angry audience, and a Floyd Mayweather win. Only time will tell.